Cocoa. The main ingredient in the chocolate we eat.
Jedenfalls verspricht das die Schokoindustrie keine Kinderarbeit.
You see children with machetes.
3 years ago, we revealed illegal child labor and trafficking of children in the chocolate industry.
Wird immer noch oft unter menschenunwürdigen Bedingungen gearbeitet.
In the aftermath, the chocolate industry spends millions on advertisements, telling the consumers that everything is under control. The children attend school. They no longer work illegally in the cocoa fields, and today you can eat chocolate with a clean conscience.
Those children are no longer at risk.
The chocolate industry acquits on their web pages the chocolate in our everyday lives. We decide to investigate if the chocolate industry keeps their promise to us, or if it is just an illusion. Nestlé in Switzerland, the world's leading food manufacturer with a yearly turnover of 68 billion euros and one of the world's largest chocolate manufacturers.
According to international labor law.
Last time we were here, we tried to get Nestlé to comment on our footage of child slaves in the production of their chocolate. We wanted to show them how small children are surrounded by traffickers and smuggled into the Ivory Coast in West Africa. Like this crying boy from Mali, who was just transported across the border.
Pourquoi tu pleures? Hein? Ali et Johnny. Hein? Ah. Ah.
But back then, Nestlé refused to talk with us. Ever since then, we have tried to get an interview with Nestlé, and now we have finally been invited, but only to an informal meeting.
Yes, it's just you. No recording, no camera. Look, I think, as I said, it's to get to know each other.
We have been invited by the Executive Vice President, José López.
Because there is a lot of people out there trying to do the right thing.
The meeting takes an hour and a half. Nestlé assures us that they do everything in their power to help local children attend school and are kept safe from illegal child labor in the Ivory Coast.
This is what I got from Nestlé, a lot of reports. It's very impressive. But I think I would like to visit Ivory Coast and the projects by myself. Okay.
But it's not that easy. The embassy of the Ivory Coast rejects our visa application unless we are invited by one of the chocolate companies. So we write an email to the world's largest chocolate companies. But quickly, all the chocolate companies reject our request. The industry spokeswoman writes this in her reply.
We are unable to secure your visa or filming authorization in Côte d'Ivoire.
Therefore, we Skype our colleague, the Ivorian journalist Ange Aboa, to know if all is well, like Nestlé says.
What do they do to fight against child labor and trafficking of kids?
Nothing at all. You know, they're supposed to give a farmer or population education, build school, help them to get access to water, proper water, something like that. But Mickey, they don't do anything.
Since we cannot go to the Ivory Coast, we decide to meet with Ange in the neighboring country, Ghana. We will meet by the border between the two countries to make a new plan. Boa has followed the chocolate industry for more than 10 years, from his home country, the Ivory Coast, the world's largest cocoa exporter. We cannot enter the Ivory Coast, but he can.
Hi, Mickey. Hi, Ange.
How's it going?
Fine, thank you. Do you think it's possible for you to go into Ivory Coast and see if you can get the footage of the aid project like ICI, Mars, and Nestle?
Yes, of course. And I can investigate to check if everything is go success.
But you have to be very careful.
Take care, you too, and hope to see you soon on Skype.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Boa goes back across the border to the Ivory Coast to investigate the industry's projects. Projects that the chocolate companies present with pride on TV.
But we've already got hundreds of programs which are making a difference, and really long-term sustainable differences, making life better for the cocoa farmers and those children that we really care about.
While Boa travels to the Ivory Coast, we visit a cooperative here in Ghana. Ghana produces 25% of the world's cocoa and is the world's second largest cocoa-producing country. But up to 1 million smallholder cocoa farmers live on the verge of poverty because here too, the cocoa price is low. The cooperative Source Trust wants to abolish child labor. Their system claims to trace the cocoa bean back to the farmer who produced it. This way, it is possible to directly control the farmers who produce the chocolate we eat.
What you see here is a typical farmer training session. What they are taking through is 29 models, which cover social issues, health and safety, child labor issues, good agricultural practices.
How big is the issue about illegal child labor in this area?
In terms of trafficking children from other areas to work here, that doesn't exist. So for us here, the issues of child labor has got to do with making sure that the farmers themselves keep their kids in school.
We decide to visit a random cocoa farmer here in Western Ghana. We quickly find a random farmer. He is harvesting the cocoa pods, and after harvest, the beans dry in the sun. In a good year, he earns up to 1,000 euros to support his family consisting of his wife and 3 children. Major difference between the Ivory Coast and Ghana is that in Ghana there is a state-controlled minimum price on cocoa beans. This way, the cocoa farmers in Ghana receive on average 30% more for their cocoa than their Ivorian neighbors. In the Ivory Coast, journalist Boa approaches the heart of the Ivorian cocoa production. For 4 years, we have tried to get a full list of school projects that are financed and built by the international chocolate industry. When we travel to the Ivory Coast to investigate the projects, we still haven't received the list. Therefore, we choose to visit random projects. Boa is going to visit a school that is built and partially funded by ICI. ICI is an umbrella organization financed by the major chocolate companies. One of these is Nestle. Together, these companies have a yearly turnover of more than 134 billion euro. But in 2011, ICI spent only 388,000 euros on projects in the Ivory Coast. Here, ICI presents itself in a video.
The International Cocoa Initiative, ICI, is dedicated to ending child and forced labor in cocoa growing.
ICI builds schools, medical clinics, and water pumps in cooperation with NGO organizations such as Caritas. Ange will now investigate a school project that costs around 10,000 euros to build. But this is what he finds.
C'est la construction de Caritas et ICI.
According to the school director, ICI began the construction in 2009.
Elle n'est pas finie. Nous avons été très satisfaits d'avoir l'ICI qui est venu à notre aide en nous construisant un bâtiment qui n'est pas encore terminé. Et ça nous pose d'énormes difficultés. Nous n'avons pas de classe pour encadrer tous ces enfants.
D'accord.
The school director wants to show us the existing buildings that are financed by the villagers.
Bien. Faut dire que ce bâtiment,
The school accommodates almost 500 pupils, but 1,000 children need schooling here.
Bon, on peut aller ici.
Une des classes de CP1, CP1A précisément, qui a encadré 55 enfants. Bien. Ici, voyez les conditions. Quand il pleut, le ruissellement de l'eau rentre dans la salle.
It also turns out that ICI asked the villagers to pay a large part of the expenses to the construction of the new school.
L'école est construite par l'ONG ICI en collaboration avec la population. Bien, donc l'ONG apporte son apport, mais au niveau du village, la population a lancé une cotisation par rapport au travail des enfants. Nous n'avons rien reçu jusqu'à présent. L'industrie chocolatière qui paie le cacao ici à Boigny-Gros n'a rien fait jusqu'à présent pour l'école.
According to the school director, ICI has still not paid the full amount of their 6,000 euro share, more than 4 years later.
J'espère qu'ils nous apportent leur concours pour venir construire l'école pour le bon encadrement de nos enfants. C'est mon souhait.
While we visit the school, several children are preparing the school grounds with pickaxes and machetes before the school year begins. School attendance is free, but the parents pay for books, pens, and paper. With an average yearly income of 800 euros, this is an expensive cost.
Il suffit qu'il y a des problèmes pour pouvoir assurer l'éducation même des élèves.
Est-ce que le poulet cacao actuellement il est bon?
Non. Le prix du cacao actuellement n'est pas bon, il est bas. Le prix est très bas.
Il y en a partout en Cogest là.
While we interview this man, an accident suddenly happens on the school grounds.
The kids who get injury with the machetes. Aye.
One of the children, called Freyas, was weeding on the school ground and got injured with his machete, a long, sharp knife that the boy normally uses to harvest cocoa pods, but a strictly illegal tool for children under 18, according to national law.
Yeah. All right, let me bandage him up.
Yep.
Our photographer dresses the boy's wound and decides to take Freyas to the closest medical clinic in the area. It turns out that the boy is a nephew to the man Ange Boa was just interviewing. We cover the cost of the boy's treatment, a bill his parents would not be able to pay. According to the US Department of Labor, more than 414,000 children in the Ivory Coast report injuries related to hazardous labor in the cocoa sector. Ange Boa's first visit to one of the industry's aid programs was no success story. Meanwhile, in Ghana, we visit a farm controlled by Source Trust. They claim to have found a way to control the farmers and thereby avoid illegal child labor. According to the manager, Source Trust knows all the local cocoa farmers in this area.
We note the name of the farmer, and then I note the first point I'm picking for this farm, which is 230. Excuse me. Now, with the farmer's name and all that, so we can use the same coordinates we've picked, the GPS coordinates for this farm, upload it onto the computer, and then we can see the shape of the farm, the size of the farm, and then the details of the farmer.
Source Trust invites us to the storage room where the cocoa is packed and ready to be shipped to Europe and the United States. Each sack has a barcode, so it can be traced back to the farmers who produced the cocoa.
So if I like to know who has done these cocoa beans, could we go to the office and see who they are?
Who they are, yes. For instance, in every society, each farmer has a passbook.
Yeah.
But
I would like to, can we go to the office? Because it seems like crazy that you just, I take this, so I want to take a random and then you will find one for me, okay?
No.
We pick a random sack and take down the code.
It's 0310.
Now the staff should be able to trace who produced this particular sack of cocoa and thereby track down the farmer and check if he is violating the law on illegal child labor.
The number is ER 0310.
ER 0310. Okay.
Yes. This was the one. It says
Bentum.
Bentum, yes.
So let's get a file for Bentum.
Oh, yeah?
You have it.
Bentum.
That is Bentum. They are small pieces. Bentum. Is it in A or B? It's in A. No, it's been the one I brought together.
But the Source Trust staff can't seem to find the documents that match the sack. We try again with another sack.
Okay, I find one. It was ER 04/20.
20?
Yes. You will find it in here, just to make sure. No.
ADO.
Adan Chrono.
They start to panic, perhaps because influential people from Source Trust are present, people who want to keep an eye on what we film, but who do not want to appear in the footage.
ER4. Hey, Asaman Kesi.
What?
ER4 is another district.
Okay. And
that is the adjoining district. ER4. Pokeball list. ER4.
Okay.
But that is...
Just a minute.
We leave this place and drive to another office an hour away from here. In the Ivory Coast, Ange Boa has now arrived at another project. According to the chocolate industry, this is one of the most successful school projects funded by the chocolate industry. It is promoted online, as well as in TV programs.
Well, the first project that the ICI conducted in Côte d'Ivoire, that was in a community. They worked with those farmers, with those families, and they identified what was at risk, why the children were at risk, and that's because they had no school. They trained teachers, they built a school. Those children are no longer at risk.
The 3 new classrooms are constructed by the ICI in 2008. All seems well. But this is what Ange also finds. Dilapidated classrooms that ICI never renovated as they promised.
Après ce bâtiment de classe et les 2 logements qui ont été construits, Caritas avait promis construire encore un bâtiment de 3 classes et des logements de maîtres. En plus de cela, 3 pompes villageoises et un centre de santé.
Neither the water pumps, the medical clinic, nor an additional school building has been built. Promises that the international chocolate industry has not kept, according to the school director. Left are these ruined school buildings that cannot house all the children of the village. Only about 200 of the 800 children in the area go to school.
Quand on est en classe, le vent fait partir les papous, les saletés versent. C'est pour cela que je n'aime pas venir dans cette classe. Il a la nausée, la maîtresse l'a demandé, il dit il a mal au ventre, on l'a envoyé à la maison.
During the break, teacher Sonia shows us her classroom.
La classe va en pièces détachées. Et si une simple pluie a engendré ça, la classe, voilà. La classe est construite avec de la terre. Tout quitte. Lorsqu'il y aura une forte pluie, là, la classe va nous retomber là-dessus. C'est pas bien.
Ceux qui viennent payer le cacao de cette population de la Côte d'Ivoire, ce qu'on peut demander à cette société, c'est tout simplement de penser un petit moment à cette population pour que les enfants qui y vivent, qui sont l'espoir de demain, puissent avoir les mêmes conditions de vie que les autres.
Many of the children in the school also work in the cocoa fields. These machetes lie right inside the door of the school. Ange Aboa goes to the village to meet the chief. The village is full of playing children. It seems like these children do not go to school.
Ça va? On dit quoi?
The chief recalls clearly when ICI came to the village.
D'abord, c'était d'abord le travail des choses des enfants, et puis des travaux. On ne peut pas envoyer les enfants en brousse. Les travaux qui sont plus, les enfants ne peuvent pas travailler. Les enfants sont droits à aller à l'école.
On ICI's request, parents of the village took their children to the school. But when they arrived, they were told that their children could not be enrolled.
Donc c'est parce qu'il n'y a pas majorité de classe que les enfants continuent d'aller toujours au champ.
Voilà pourquoi nous prions pour que nous ayons mettre 3 bonnes classes et pour que nos enfants partent à l'école.
4 years later, ICI has still not kept its promise that no children in Camp Montpaul will face the risk of illegal child labor. These are facts that ICI has not told the consumers. Ange Aboa continues to travel north to uncover just how bad the projects really are.
Hi, Ange.
Hi, Mickey.
How does it go with checking the projects?
It's very, very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. The industry, cocoa industry, could do much more better than what they're doing now. Yeah. It could be a disaster, I think, for them and for the population too.
In the meantime, we arrive at another office, also run by Source Trust. We make another attempt to find out which cocoa farmer produced the sacks that I randomly picked out.
It's ER 0420.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Okay. And also ER 0310. Bitom. Okay, it says Bitom, okay. And this is all the farmers' names and...
No, so this is one file for one farmer.
Yeah. Okay.
Finally, we figure out which farmers produce the cocoa in the sacks. The Source Trust staff seem relieved.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rick.
Bye.
Thanks for your patience.
The question is whether this system is good enough to ensure safe cocoa to the millions of consumers around the world. Source Trust is responsible for only 2% of the total production of cocoa in Ghana, and implementing this system is a very slow process. In the Ivory Coast, Ange Boa just reached Miagui. He wants to visit the so-called farmer field schools that are financed mainly by the chocolate industry. This website shows how the farmers are educated in growing their crops and in better work ethics.
Because cocoa matters for the farmers, for the consumers, and for all of us.
The school's aim is to certify farmers as sustainable farmers so that they can produce cocoa without illegal child labor. This farmer field school is run by the American chocolate dynasty Cargill. It is run together with UTS, who guarantees sustainable cocoa to the consumers. But the first thing that Ange Boa sees on the farm is this boy.
Mais pourquoi aujourd'hui c'est lundi, qu'est-ce que tu fais ici au champ? Qu'est-ce qui se passe?
Je suis venu cueillir cacao.
The boy seems nervous and he doesn't speak the local language. Therefore, they speak French. He is from the neighboring country, Burkina Faso, more than 1,500 kilometers away.
Mais pourquoi tu n'es pas là à l'école?
Il ne m'a pas encore inscrit.
Pourquoi?
Il veut qu'on a fini de cueillir d'abord là.
Ange Boa meets another boy at the plantation. He is also from Burkina Faso.
Tu as quel âge?
J'ai 13 ans.
Tu as 13 ans? Ah, ok. Mais aujourd'hui, c'est jour d'école, non?
Non.
C'est pas jour
Je fais
d'école?
tant pis.
Tu vas plus à l'école?
Non.
Quel travail?
Travail de cacao. Champ pour cueillir. Tout ça. Non, ramasse, c'est fini. Ramasse pour aller mettre ça en temps.
On fait un peu un film sur le travail. Bon, à peu près.
Contrary to Cargill's and UTS's own regulations, children work on their farmer field school. Children who are probably victims of trafficking. Ange Boa continues his journey. The sign states that this is a farmer field school. It is run by Mars, ICI, and Rainforest Alliance. Mars is known for M&Ms, Snickers, and Milky Way, as seen in advertisements. And Rainforest Alliance is a certification program which guarantees the consumers a sustainable cocoa production without the use of illegal child labor.
So not only does Galaxy taste good, it does good.
But this is what Ange finds. Children who harvest cocoa beans that end up as an ingredient in our chocolate. This is illegal according to United Nations International Labour Conventions and contrary to what Mars, ICI and Rainforest Alliance have promised the consumers.
Et est-ce qu'on vous a formé, on vous a montré comment travailler dans le champ, tout ça?
Aussi.
C'est quelle formation? Explique-nous.
On nous a formé qu'une fois qu'on appelle le cacao arrive quand on a fini de récolter, d'ici 15 jours, on a qu'à récolter et balayer les champs avec ce qu'on appelle les noix qui sont sur le cacao, et nettoyer tout ça. C'est ce que nous avons formé avec les ladons qu'on a qu'à nettoyer tout.
Est-ce qu'ils vous ont aussi dit que, comme ces champs-écoles là, pas que vous allez travailler, les enfants vont travailler dedans, ils vont transporter le cacao?
Si.
None of the minor children at the Farmer Field School speak French or the local language, so Ange Boa asks the older boy to translate for us.
Les maîtres et malades, c'est pour ça qu'Antoine ne va pas à l'école.
Demande-lui, il dit quoi, son maître est malade, c'est ça? Oui. Demande-lui.
Quand la crème est malade, non? Oui. Si, le maître est malade. D'accord.
Et tu as quel âge?
Oui, c'est 10 ans cette année.
15 ans? Ouh, tu es vieux, hein? Tu as 15 ans ou bien tu as moins de 15 ans? Il a
presque 15 ans, mais ce n'est pas encore arrivé.
À 14 ans?
Voilà.
Pourquoi il n'est pas à l'école aujourd'hui?
Pour parler ça, moi aussi, je n'ai pas fréquenté quoi.
Ok. Okay. Et merci. Merci beaucoup. Hein.
Okay, merci aussi.
Ange has not been able to find one single project that lives up to the promises of the chocolate industry. Maybe this is the reason no one in the international chocolate industry wanted to invite me to the Ivory Coast. During our research, we were contacted by Nestlé. They have become aware of our recordings, and now they want to see and comment on the projects that they are economically involved in.
Now I will arrive again to Nestlé's headquarters. This is the third time. First time, they didn't want to talk to me. Second time, they would talk to me without a camera, and this is the third time, and now they will be on camera. Hello. I have an appointment with Mr. Jose Lopez.
Yes,
Yes.
you are Mr.
Mistrati. Hello. Fine, thank you. Good to see you.
Also ICI who represents the world's leading companies in the chocolate industry, now wants to talk to us. And the two worldwide certification brands, Rainforest Alliance and UTZ, also agree to see how their projects in the Ivory Coast are run.
So, what kind of control do ICI have with these projects, like schools and farmer field schools?
We have a number of different ways in which we work at the community level. Most often, we work through local NGOs, so Ivorian NGOs.
But when you build a school, for instance, then I suppose that ICI would like to have some control with the school.
But even with those local NGOs, we always have control. And you can't generally, in any development or aid program, put money into a project and then turn your back on it and expect it to have the impact that you wanted. So,
as you probably know, I've traveled around, and I would like to show you some projects and get your comments. And this is a school, and they really complain because ICI was supposed to building it in 2009, and this is how it look now. You see, this is the school. It's not finished. He cut his legs with a machete at that school. What do you think about this?
Well, I find it upsetting. I mean, I have a child of a similar age myself, so obviously seeing that.
And this is where we bring him to a medical center because of this. This is in the school class, actually, the machetes. I suppose that there shouldn't be machetes. This is what they were promised. This is the new one, and this is the old one. And they're still not able. The
new one was built by us.
Yes, I know. But they were promised that they also got other schools.
ICI didn't promise to build a second school there.
So they lie.
This is before my time. I will look into this for you, Mickey,
yes,
for
please.
sure. And the other school that you showed me, I really need to look into that. I need to find out exactly where it was and exactly why the school ended up not being finished. So,
3 years. And the grass was like this high.
Sure, because that is not, of course, a positive result for us.
13 years old.
If it's true that things like this happen, like young kids, like 13, you know, helping with the harvest, that's absolutely not the intention, and it should also be remediated as soon as possible, because these kids are not helping that at all.
And this is a farmer field school, also ICI. You recognize it's a rainforest and Mars.
Yes, this project I know, yes.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
How come a kid, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years old, working with a machete? And actually, some of the boys was from Burkina Faso.
We can't see their age, but we can see that they're relatively young children.
Yeah.
And they're using machetes, which is the old traditional practice in Côte d'Ivoire.
Are you proud of the work you do when it was so easy for me to get the documentation of the projects which not run very well?
I'm proud of the work that ICI does.
Okay.
What you portray there is that what exists is not what is supposed to exist or what is believed to exist. And that's something we have to also take out of this whole process.
We have clear evidence, evaluated independently, that we have a positive impact in the areas where we work. Where there are exceptions, and I will look into this, and I will come back to you. And this is not the quality that we're looking for.
It's good that consumers know that it is hard to manufacture a block of chocolate, that it takes a lot of work. And inside there are elements like the ones you show in the footage, which is the sad part of this activity.
I think it's right for consumers to be concerned. I think it's important that consumers understand the issue and that they don't have expectations that we can maybe have a guarantee that this sort of thing doesn't happen. But it's right that there is an expectation on industry and on the governments and on the civil society actors that are involved that we manage this problem more responsibly.
Shouldn't you tell the consumers that there could be some problems?
You know, to bring a product to the market, like a chocolate block, takes a lot of work, a lot of activities. Our job is to do it right. But I also don't want to make it to think that we knew, but we didn't do anything because it was not known. It is just a normal process.
Are you surprised that it was so easy for us to find kids on a farm where UTS is involved?
Yes, I'm surprised. Yes, yeah.
This type of example here, where a child, is using a machete like that, separate from the school, why they're not going to school, this has to be stopped.
You are bringing light into this process because, in a way, raising awareness, making sure that this is not something forgotten somewhere also contributes in the same direction.
No, because I will do my work in the future too.
We recognize that there's still so much to do to really get rid of this problem from the cocoa industry.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Vicky.
Thank you.
After our interview with the executive director of ICI, which represents the world's major chocolate companies, he sends us a mail. Here he explains that the reason for the school project from 2009 is still not finished is due to the civil conflict surrounding the presidential election in the Ivory Coast. Indeed, ICI and our implementing partners suspended our operations during the peak of the crisis. The CEO refers to the crisis that took place between December 2010 and April 2011. That is a period of 5 months. But the school construction was initiated a year and a half before the crisis, and more than 3 years later, it remains unfinished. Both Mars and Cargill have been invited to see and comment on our footage, but they do not want to participate. The chocolate manufacturers have tried to convince us that they do good. But we did not find one single project in the Ivory Coast that is successful. Thousands of children are not in school, but working illegally on cocoa farms where the cocoa for our chocolate comes from. Not even consumers who pay extra for a seal of approval on their chocolate can be sure to have good chocolate. Since 2001, the industry has invested only 1/1000th of their €1 billion revenue on helping the people who produce their cocoa. As consumers, how can we enjoy chocolate without feeling guilty? Only if we tell the chocolate industry what we want: chocolate without illegal child labor.